All right, so are you ready for a super quick deep dive into today's news from the Faroe Islands?
Yeah, let's jump right in. We've got quite a bit to get through today.
So we're going to be pulling from a bunch of local Faroe sources, just to kind of give you a quick snapshot of what's been going on.
Perfect for anyone who wants to stay updated, but, doesn't have a ton of time.
Right, exactly. And we'll be focusing on all the news, politics, sports, and weather from today.
Sounds good.
So first up, let's talk about the weather because it's been a bit crazy lately.
Yeah, it has. It's been impacting all sorts of things, especially fishing.
Yeah.
But we'll touch on that a bit more later.
Okay, so let's move on to the political scene.
Yeah.
Things are getting pretty interesting in Vagr.
Yeah, they had a city council meeting last night, and it was, it was dramatic.
Yeah.
The current mayor, Bjarni Johansen, was facing a challenge for his position.
Oh, wow.
But he ended up holding on to his seat.
I guess even small towns can have their share of political drama, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Personalities and local issues can really heat things up.
And speaking of heated debates, there's still a lot of talk about the proposed Føroyar.
Yeah, there was a meeting on Sandoy, and residents there are really pushing back against a potential route that would go through Djupedal.
What are their concerns about that route?
Well, they're worried about the impact on their community.
Makes sense.
They're actually advocating for an alternative route that would go under the town and come out near the school.
So they really want to make sure that the tunnel benefits their community, not disrupts it.
Exactly. It shows how engaged people are in these infrastructure projects.
On a national level, the parliament is discussing something that's pretty relevant to a lot of people: vacant homes.
Yeah, they're talking about the possibility of charging a fee for those properties.
Interesting. I can see how that would be controversial.
Definitely. There are arguments on both sides. Some people see it as a way to address housing affordability, while others see it as government overreach.
Yeah, it's a tricky issue.
It is. And on a more positive note, the Red Cross and the Faroe Islands just made a big donation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they donated 1 million krona to help people in southern Sudan and the Philippines.
That's amazing. It's great to see them stepping up to help those in need, even on the other side of the world.
It really highlights their commitment to global solidarity.
Now let's move on to the economy, where things are looking a little shaky in the car market.
Yeah, car sales have been dropping pretty significantly.
Do we know why that is?
It could be a sign of a broader economic slowdown or maybe just a change in consumer behavior.
So we'll have to wait and see how things play out.
But on a brighter note, the fishing industry, which is a huge part of the Faroes economy, seems to be doing all right.
How many fishing vessels are operating right now?
I'm around 10 at the moment, mostly targeting cod, blue whiting, and blackfish.
So they're sticking with the traditional catches.
Yeah, pretty much. And speaking of fishing, a big Faroes fishing company called Framherji just bought a new vessel.
Oh, wow. What's it called?
It's called the Serene. It's a pretty big investment, which suggests they're feeling optimistic about the future of the industry.
So some mixed signals in the economy overall.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, let's see what's happening in the world of sports.
Well, the Faroes national handball team is having a tough time in the European Handball Championship.
How are they doing?
Unfortunately, they just lost their 4th game in a row.
Oh, that's rough.
But hey, at least they're getting some good experience playing against top-level competition.
Yeah, you got to learn from the best.
On a brighter note, we have a Faroes footballer to celebrate.
Oh, yeah. Who is it?
Shalti Strømsten from B68. He just won the Goal of the Year award for 2024.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, he got like 40% of the votes.
So a pretty decisive win.
Definitely.
All right, now for something a little more festive.
Yes. The Glimmer Choir is about to kick off their annual Christmas concerts.
Oh, nice. I bet those are beautiful.
They're super popular. It's like a beloved holiday tradition.
And for those who prefer something a little heavier, there's some exciting news on the music front.
Oh, yeah. The Faroes metal band Ty is going to be headlining the OY Voxbot Festival next year.
Wow, so they're getting some major recognition.
Definitely. It's great to see Faroes music getting out there.
And in other cultural news, Her Life Hammer has been reappointed as the director of the National Museum.
So he's sticking around for another term.
Which is great for continuity and stability at the museum.
Absolutely. It's an important institution for preserving Faroes culture.
Before we wrap up this first part, there are a couple of quick things I wanted to mention that might pique your interest.
Yeah, these are just little teasers, things that caught our eye.
So first up, there's a new movie called Nosferatu that's causing quite a stir.
Yeah, it's gotten some backlash because They used 5,000 rats in the production.
Wow, that's a lot of rats.
Yeah, it has animal rights groups pretty concerned.
So, bit of controversy there.
Definitely.
And finally, there was a pretty disturbing incident at a Danish school.
Yeah, a student was stabbed.
Oh, wow.
The details are still pretty unclear, but it's a reminder that these things can happen anywhere.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
It is.
So, those are just a couple of things to keep in mind as we continue our deep dive.
Stay tuned for more insights into the news from the Faroe Islands.
We'll be right back. And we're back with more from the Faroe Islands. So, we were talking about that fee for vacant homes, and I gotta say, that seems like a really tough issue.
It is. It's complicated. You've got property rights on one hand, and then this need to address housing affordability on the other.
Right. So, like, what are the main arguments people are making?
Well, those who are in favor of the fee, they say it could encourage owners to either move into those empty homes or rent them out.
Which would, in theory, free up more housing.
Exactly. They see it as a tool to tackle this growing issue of, empty homes in places where people are struggling to find a place to live.
But then on the flip side, there are people who are totally against it.
Right. Oh, absolutely. They see it as like an attack on property rights. Like, you bought the property, it's yours, you should be able to do what you want with it.
Even if that means leaving it empty.
Even if that means leaving it empty. They argued that the government shouldn't be able to dictate how people use their own property.
So it's a tough one, no easy answers there.
Nope. It kind of reflects this global trend we're seeing.
Okay.
Governments all over are trying to figure out how to deal with housing affordability. It's a big issue.
Definitely. What else is going on in the political sphere?
Well, there's been some talk about public transportation,
Okay.
specifically those services that operate in the more rural areas. There's this idea that they should be paying the full fee for every bus that uses the Føroyar tunnel in.
So no special discounts or anything?
Right, no discounts. The argument is that, if you give them a reduced rate, it might limit how flexible they are in adapting their routes and schedules.
Especially when it comes to using the tunnel to connect different regions.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance, making transportation affordable, but also making sure it's efficient and adaptable for everyone.
It sounds like there are a lot of moving parts to consider.
Yeah, definitely. It affects a lot of people in different ways.
All right, let's switch gears a bit. Any exciting sports news to report?
Oh, yeah. We've got to talk about Schulte Strømsten from B68.
Oh, yeah, the goal of the year winner.
Yes. His goal was incredible, like something out of a highlight reel. No wonder he got 40% of the votes.
Yeah, that's a huge chunk of the votes. Must have been pretty spectacular.
It was. And it's a big deal for Faroes football.
Makes you proud, huh?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, not all the sports news is so positive.
Oh, right. The handball team.
Yeah, they're still struggling in the European Championship.
They lost again?
Yeah, they lost to Denmark. They're a tough opponent, though.
I guess it's all part of the learning process.
Exactly. And they're representing the Faroe Islands with pride. They're giving it their all, and that's what matters.
Okay, so we've got football highs and handball lows. Anything else happening in the world of sports?
Well, we'll keep you updated if anything else breaks, but for now, let's move on to culture.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready for some holiday cheer.
Perfect timing then, because the Gleimer Choir is gearing up for their Christmas concert.
Oh, I bet those are magical.
They are. It's one of those traditions that really gets people into the holiday spirit, beautiful harmonies, heartwarming music, the whole package.
Sounds lovely.
Now, if you're in the mood for something a little bit louder...
A little more rock and roll.
Exactly. The Faroes metal band Tia is headlining the OY Voxbot Festival next year.
Wow, that's pretty huge. I know they have a big following here.
Yeah, they do. It's a real testament to the diversity of the Faroes music scene, From traditional choirs to heavy metal, they've got it all.
And speaking of culture, I heard that Her Life Hammer is staying on at the National Museum.
Yeah, he's been reappointed as director.
That's good news for the museum, right? Keeps things stable.
Absolutely. It's so important to have that continuity, especially for an institution that plays such a vital role in preserving and promoting Faroes culture and history.
So a lot going on in the arts and culture scene.
Always. It's a vibrant community.
Okay, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, there were a couple of things from earlier that I wanted to touch on a bit more.
Oh, right. The movie and the school incident?
Yeah, those ones. So first, the movie Nosferatu. I mean, using 5,000 rats in a film, that's bound to raise some eyebrows.
It has. It sparked a lot of debate about animal rights and how far is too far when it comes to using animals in filmmaking.
Yeah, it's a tough one. On one hand, you want to support artistic expression, but on the other hand, You don't want animals to be mistreated.
Exactly. And that's what people are grappling with. Where do you draw the line?
It's a conversation that needs to be had, for sure. And then that incident at the Danish school.
Yeah, the stabbing, it's just a horrible situation. And,
Yeah.
it's a stark reminder that these kinds of things can happen anywhere.
Even in places that we generally consider safe.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we need to be vigilant and that we need to support our schools and communities in creating safe environments for everyone.
Well said. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive. We've been talking a lot about the Faroe Islands today, all the news and events, but I think it's time we really dig into something crucial,
Mm.
their economy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a small nation, but they're facing some big economic questions, just like everyone else.
Right, and we talk about fishing, which is obviously huge for them.
Yeah, it's a cornerstone of their economy, but there's this growing awareness that they need to diversify.
So, like, not put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Exactly. And they're taking steps to do that. They've been focusing a lot on renewable energy.
Well, they've got a lot of wind and tidal energy potential,
But
right?
tons, and they're using it. Wind farms, tidal projects, the whole works.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, they've set this goal of becoming 100% renewable.
Yeah, it's ambitious, but they seem determined to make it happen. And it makes sense, right? It's good for the environment, but it also creates jobs, attracts investment.
Yeah, it reduces their dependence on, imported fuels.
Yeah.
So, a lot of wins there, potentially.
Right, and it feeds into this whole idea of sustainability, which is becoming increasingly important for them.
So, renewable energy is one piece of the puzzle. What else are they doing to diversify their economy?
Well, tourism is another big one.
Yeah, I can see the appeal. They've got these stunning landscapes, this unique culture. It's a pretty special place.
It is, and word is getting out. More and more tourists are discovering the Faroe Islands. But they're trying to be careful about it, making sure it's sustainable, that it benefits the community and doesn't harm the environment.
Yeah, finding that balance is crucial. So, renewable energy, tourism, what else is on the horizon?
Believe it or not, they're making a real push in the tech sector.
Really? Tech, I mean, they're pretty remote.
They are, but they've got this really well-educated workforce and a surprisingly strong digital infrastructure.
So they're trying to leverage that to attract tech companies.
Exactly. And it's working. They've got companies working in software development, blockchain, you name it. It's a small but growing part of their economy.
It's amazing to see how adaptable they are. I mean, they're willing to try new things, embrace new opportunities.
Yeah, they're not afraid to think outside the box. They're facing the same global challenges as everyone else, but they're finding their own unique solutions.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Faroe Islands. We've covered a lot of ground today, from politics to the economy, from sports to culture.
It's been a whirlwind tour, but I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a fascinating place full of surprises.
It is. And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to discover. So keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.